Hey guys, I'm Lucy. Welcome back to Crescent Gaming, and today we got another good one in store for you. We're gonna be doing PlanetSide 2 for our featured MMO review. And as you can see on screen, here's the categories and the score breakdown on how it did in each category. So what we're gonna do is just go a little bit further in depth, on each category. So feel free to use the timestamps to jump ahead and skip ahead to where you want to go. So without any further ado, let's just get right in.
Spotted an enemy heavy.
Alright guys, now when it comes to the cash shop, I have to say it's actually not that bad. Let's start off by saying first that the game is free to play. Now it's on PC and you have it on consoles. It's not crossplay with all of them, but most MMOs aren't. It's very hard to bring all those things together, so keep that in mind. Now, as far as the premium access or like a monthly sub, yes, they definitely do have that. There is a $15 premium access that gives you some goodies along with experience boosts that can help you move a lot faster. Now, into their credit in the cash shop, you do have a lot of cosmetics. Unfortunately, though, you are locked behind guns. Some guns, or different cosmetics looking guns, there's no other way to get them through than the cash shop. So I'm not selling cosmetics. I'm not a cosmetics person, so it doesn't work on me, and I'm fine with that. I don't think that's a bad way to make money. Keep in mind the game is free to play, so you have to make your money somehow. However, there are some guns that are strictly only locked behind that. There's no other way to get them. And of course, if you grind it out and you just free to play mode and you're getting the guns like you normally should, getting the different weapons, some of them, you can't even buy with credits, which is the in-game currency, and that's going to take you a long time. Now, you can rent guns and weapons for, I think, like 30 minutes or something like that, and you can kind of test it out, see if you like it in an actual combat scenario. You can go to the training room and you can try every gun with every attachment in the game. However, it's not the best of testing because you never really get to shoot anything that's shooting back at you or something that's moving. So that is nice, though. You do get to test them out. So I have to say the cash shop's not too bad. It's not the best. Maybe they could do with some kind of $5, $10 entry fee into the game. It could help out. I don't necessarily think that people wouldn't want to pay for it, but maybe that's a decision they made a long time ago. However, it seems to be working out for them because there is quite a lot of people playing. So cash shop, not too bad. They could change some things. I don't like. I'll say it. I don't like how they blocked experience behind the paid buff. You can get things a lot quicker. You can get all of your currencies a lot quicker with just that premium membership. So there's things of that nature. But as far as being able to dunk on someone with going to the cash shop's not going to happen here. You can get dunked on. A level 120 player could get dunked on by a level 1 that just loaded into the game for the first time and has no idea what's going on. You walk into my snipe range and bam, you walk into the bullet and you're done. So it's the gear isn't like that. But yes, some guns are better, yada yada yada. We'll go into that in a little bit more detail. But overall, the cash shop's not too bad.
Spotted an enemy heavy.
Alright guys, now as far as PvE goes, this is going to be a really short section. There is basically zero. They just did add a few months ago, a campaign mode where you can go and have an objective to do with other players. It seemed like that died out real quick because everybody finished it, no one's doing it anymore. But anyway, I don't know how they're going to fix that. So there's no real... You are not going to fight anything in this game that is automated. Like, you're only going to fight other players. They also did add the space kind of sanctum area up in the spaceship where you can meet the other factions, and of course you can't shoot them, you can talk to them, but there's little NPCs and they're merchant NPCs. So as far as PvE wise goes, that's going to be the closest you're going to get to this game, is you're going to have merchant NPCs. That's about it.
Spotted an enemy heavy.
Now, as far as the community goes, guys, I have to say it's actually pretty solid. There's a lot of helpful players here. Yeah, you're going to have some toxic folks, but that's just something that you can't really get away from in any game nowadays, especially online. So aside from that, you have some very helpful people. If it's your first time logging into the game, you're going to jump in, you're going to get put in an auto squad, and there's a really good chance that the leader of that squad is probably going to be connected to another squad, and they'll be in voice chat. and they'll be, you know, asking, "It's your first time playing? Are you new? This is just a new character, yada yada yada. Do you have any questions?" So there is a very you know, vocal and open community throughout the player base themselves. So I think that's one thing that they definitely have going for themselves, that a lot of games seem to kind of just bypass the actual player interaction aspect of it. However, you know, keep in mind that if you're not a voice chat person and you don't like headsets, you don't have a mic and stuff, there's almost no text. And when I say text, I mean typing. I play on PC, so almost nobody types. You know, so you can, it's at times it can feel kind of single player-ish if you're, you know, not trying to get into the community, not trying to get involved with other people. So that kind of falls on you. But there is, compared to most games, right out the gate, it can be very solo play. But don't let that discourage you. I think the community here is probably one of the more solid communities of game companies. And one of the better things is that they're pretty transparent with everything that they do, and they do ask a lot of feedback from the community. And lately they have been bringing in a lot of expansions. Well, I say expansions, I mean content that is expanding on the game. So PlanetSide 2 is definitely, it's on the rise.
Spotted an enemy heavy.
Alright guys, now when it comes to visuals, I do have to say the game's age is definitely showing. You can see it in quite a lot of textures and in most of the areas. It is one big huge open world in that sense, so you do get the vastness of the world, and especially once you start getting into vehicles and you start flying around, you definitely feel the sense of the world. If especially your first time in like a transport unit, y'all are loaded up, 12 people, and then, you know, 10 of y'all jump out when you get to where you need to go, and it's from pretty high, and you can feel that fall. So it's pretty sweet as far as that goes. So there's some, you know, still some, don't get me wrong, the game doesn't look bad, that's not what I'm saying, but it definitely could use a little bit of love when it comes to, I guess, some updating and different textures and things of that nature. Now the performance, we definitely have to talk about this. It is, for the most part, it's really good. However, you definitely have that big MMO battle feel of that lag and server lag that you're gonna get. So sometimes you could be shooting at someone and they're not, it might be in the crosshair, they might not be in it, and they accidentally get hit or don't get hit with some of that. So sometimes you'll find that you'll get killed sometimes by lag when there's a lot of people. So I know that's a hard thing, so you do have to keep that in mind though. And I mean, you're only fighting other players, and I've been in battles with hundreds of people on the screen at a time. It has been absolutely nuts. So there's a lot of things that can happen, and every once in a while you do kind of get that screen clutter. But even during all that, the performance is really good. Like I said, the graphics, yeah, they could use a little bit of touch up, but overall the game runs smooth, it looks smooth. The gunplay is, for the most part, again, smooth. You just have to keep in mind about that lag thing, that you're gonna have that. So sometimes things play off, and it does get aggravating, but that's kind of the nature of the beast. Can they upgrade that? I'm sure they could. But overall, visually, not a bad looking game. Definitely not a bad looking playing game. Or, I'm sorry, bad playing game. It runs really smooth, and the combat, for the most part, is nice.
Spotted an enemy heavy.
Alright guys, now when it comes to grind, boy, I tell you what, there's going to be a lot of things for you to do here. You have weapons to get. You have weapons for 6 different classes that you can get, that you can upgrade. You have 4 different areas of attachments that you can attach to. Most of them. You get a bunch of camos. Most of the weapons do not cross over from class to class. So you're going to be farming your search to get your favorite weapons, or just, I would say, try them out first before you purchase, because cert farming can take a while, especially if you're new to the game. So what you would do in that situation is just go to the training room, or the virtual training area, once you finish the tutorial. And what that'll let you do is use any gun in the game on any character class with any attachment, and you can try everything out. Now keep in mind, you won't be able to truly test it, obviously, because these targets aren't moving, but it'll give you an idea of how the gun operates, how the damage operates, range, yada yada yada. So I would definitely recommend on doing that before you spend your hard-earned certs on a weapon, or swipe maybe for a weapon. If you don't know exactly how it's going to perform, maybe you might not do the exact thing that you're looking to do. For instance, SMGs in this game, they act like SMGs. Up close, they're very deadly. Far away, they're junk, how they should be. So anyway, so aside from the weapons and your 6 character classes with the weapons that mostly don't cross over, you also have all the vehicles. Now with all the vehicles, you have pretty much the same choices. You have weapons to get for those, different attachments or mods that you can put, like make your 4-wheeler stealth and just run people over. It's nuts. Then you have all of your air upgrades for your airships and air vehicles that you can do. Same thing, camos. And then probably what I don't like the most is the RNG system of the mod system. And what it is I find myself sometimes getting 6 or 7 of the same exact mod in a row. And yeah, you can break down duplicates to get the ISO that you need to get the ones that you want. And it takes longer that way, but I guess that's another thing that kind of fluffs it out a little bit to make, feel like it's more it's more of a filler than anything. But regardless, that is also something that you keep in mind, you have to do on each character as well with those particular mods. So you'd have to get it on another character if you wanted to use it. Now usually gun unlocks are account wide, especially if you did something to the cash shop. So anyway, a lot of things to grind here. You're gonna have a lot of different camos. I know a lot of people really enjoy that type of stuff. Just keep in mind some of the things you will not be able to get unless you pay for them. So some camos, some guns are locked behind it, but usually when it's a gun, it's not a gun that you can't get in the normal game. It just may be a version of it, but all the stats are the same. So a lot to do here.
Spotted an enemy heavy.
Alright guys, now we get to probably what everybody's been waiting for, the PvP. And of course, this is what this game is most known for. It is like, to sum it up in a nutshell for anyone who hasn't tried it before, imagine your favorite battle royale game, with 150, 200, 300 people in it. Let's just say 300 people in your favorite battle royale game. And the gas cloud or the electric circle or the wet water, it doesn't close. The map stays the same size and all the people stay there, and you fight over spots on the map instead of fighting just to get to this one small zone to escape gas. There's nothing to escape other than bullets. You're always searching for different capture the flag moments, I guess you can. And it happens not just on a 5 or 10 minute basis like you would expect in most multiplayer matches, 6 versus 6, 5-10 minute matches. These last quite some time. I mean, you can spend all day defending one base, you can spend all day attacking one base, you can spend all day creating little player made bases so you can start farming resources so your guild and everything can build one of the huge spaceships that they just added, and then you can have a supreme aerial battle. I've only been in one thus far, but it was pretty sweet. So the PvP, not only do you have how would I say it, infantry, like person to person interactions, but you also have person to vehicle interactions and person to aircraft interactions. And jumping into that, definitely the most, I think, overwhelming thing at first is just all the different classes that you have and all the different options that you're going to be given. So you have the 6 different classes. You have the infiltrator, which is usually your sneaker sniper. You have the light assault, which is kind of your guy who can go vertical. They have the jetpack, so they can get in some really odd places and breach in some strange places. You have the engineer, who is going to be healing vehicles and resurrecting max units, and they can fix consoles around the map. Then you have the heavy assault, which is going to be the guy who has the overshield and usually runs in. He's a little less tanky than a max suit, but can kind of perform the same way, but has a lot better maneuverability. And then you have the medic, who's going to be the healer of people and can resurrect infantry. And then the max is kind of like an infantry / vehicle. So not only do you have the 6 classes and all their different abilities and things that you have to upgrade and master, so you have the ground vehicles too, which have specific units that are for each faction, and you also have the air vehicles, which have specific units for each faction as well. But they, for the most part, share the same one. So you have all those things that you're going to have to get used to. The 6 different classes. How do the vehicles play? How do the aircrafts play? The bashing in the sky. Is that going to nuke me from afar? Am I going to get nuked from a player nuke? A lot of different things you have to start keeping track of. So you have these different play styles that you're able to mix up between all the different, depending on the different scenario, the different base you're at. So all these aspects really merge into what I consider, as far as first-person shooter, it's a very satisfying PvP experience. Yes, it's hectic. Yes, when you first start, you don't really know what's going on. But I think overall, the way that everything is handled, and especially so many people on the screen, you have so many calculations going on, server side, your side, all at the same time. And it runs pretty smooth for the most part. So I think the PvP here in this game, yes, it's awkward sometimes. You're like, oh, I shot him 10 times and he took 10 damage. Well, I mean, headshots, body shots, all that kind of stuff really is added differently here in this game. So where you're, like, for instance, headshots, you almost kind of have to go for headshots because the damage multiplier is just so high. So it is a kind of a harder learning curve, I think, here with the PvP environment. But keep in mind that it is the only environment in the game is PvP. So if always going against other players, always trying to outsmart somebody, flying up around people, getting with a little squad together and just going around and creating mayhem, whether you're in the air, you're on the ground with tanks, or you're all invisible running around as, you know, stealth snipers, whatever you want to do, there's always something available for you to go and do that kind of play style. So as far as, I say, just gunplay, and especially with friends, PlanetSide 2 is probably your best bet. Alright guys, so that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. My overall thoughts on PlanetSide 2, not a bad game at all. I think if you're into heavy action and a lot of different combat scenarios, this is probably a game for you. And don't forget, it's free to play. Now, I also want to thank all of you guys for all the support. We're almost at 100 subs to move on to our next goal, to keep the channel going. So until next time, we'll see y'all later.